the load.
Contact.
Green averages leagues. Of course, Virginia at that point had Ralph Sampson, player of the year. Miami's got a whole collection of players that's getting it done.
Certainly do. I mean, outside Shane Larkin, there's probably not a point guard in the conference and maybe in the country playing better than he is as far as fueling his team. You got Kenny Kaji on the inside. You know, Durant Scott, terrific two-guard player. I mean, you just got him operating on just about every cylinder. Down low, Julian Gamble, the enforcer, along with Big Reggie Johnson. So there's not a whole lot of weaknesses on that team, and people keep wondering, are they for real? You know, that to me was a question that should have been answered weeks ago with the thumping of Duke, with dismantling Carolina, both in Carolina and in Miami.
We'll be there next Tuesday night as Virginia heads to Coral Gables. Try and slow down the Hurricanes. What about Miami? That has turned into a hotbed of hoops. You got LeBron and company on one side, and now all of a sudden Coral Gables is the place to be.
Yeah,
it's a great atmosphere.
And you see LeBron and Dwayne Wade attending, you know, the Miami Hurricane games. It's a shame that the Hurricane players can't afford to go see LeBron and Dwayne Wade play.
Tough night for Virginia Tech.
Well, there's still time now with a solid defensive effort to get back in the ball game, but you got to know how to play defense, and you got to play it without fouling. You know,
that's the third on Robert Brown.
Getting ready to get into double bonus here.
Joe Harris is having a monster game for Virginia tonight. He came in to tonight 5th in the ACC at 16 points a game. He's at 7 of 10 from the floor, and that puts him at 14 of 18 over the last 2 games. Talk about red hot.
There's no question about it that Joe Harris has got the feeling, and his teammates feel it for him. Continue to get him the ball.
Into Colhan Rowe there. The turnover by Jarrell Eddy.
Look, Jarrell Eddy's upset with Will Johnson about not coming out and get the ball, but you know what? When you're passing off the dribble, you've got no control off the pass. You're already committed. Pick up the ball and pass the ball with 2 hands. I mean, the fundamental soundness, especially in that situation where you know a guy's getting overplayed, getting denied. Be sure. Otherwise, you got a turnover. Flip side is, does Virginia have a turnover this half? They ended the first half with 4. I don't think they have any turnovers.
Wood with another foul. That caught on the back. That's his 3rd.
And if you're Virginia Tech, if you can't turn them over, you're not getting back into this ball game. I'm sorry. Virginia with 4 turnovers. That's what they finished the first half with.
That is a 1/3 of their season average, which is impressive in its own right at less than 12. Another one coming for Akil Mitchell. $15 now for Mitchell. This is an impressive Virginia group doing it without Mike Tobey and essentially Darian Atkins.
And certainly we're impressed with the scores. Harris outside, Akil Mitchell inside. The supporting cast, guys like Jesperson, Nolte putting it in the basket. But I tell you what, it's the defense. You know, they put the locks for the most part on Eric Green and everybody else.
That's his 2nd on Justin Anderson. It says a lot when the home crowd cheers a defensive effort. When Eric Green passed that ball a moment ago, Anderson got an ovation for having the skill to turn away Green and turn him away from the shot. Virginia came into this game second in the nation defensively in points per game allowed, in field goal percentage allowed, 10th in three-point field goal percentage allowed, 5th in possessions per 40 minutes. They just grind you down on the defensive end, and they shut you down.
Well, in the total 6.
And then they throw it down.
That'll make you speechless. In their total 6 losses, they've only shot about 38%. So the defense is constant. Sometimes they get solved, so they have to be able to shoot the ball.
Helps when you get point-blank looks.
Well, look, no pressure on the ball, and Mitchell just sneaks behind the defense. It all begins with pressure on the ball.
Harris tracks it down in the corner. Green. Virginia Tech needs some time to recoup, but they're going to put a full court press on here. Trailing by 20 with 5:23 to go.
And the reason why they're applied it now is because obviously James Johnson didn't want to run out of gas. This is like full court pressure, that almost suicidal pressure. You're going to wear yourself down, lose by 30, or you're going to get back into this ball game.
Well, this has been an impressive performance for the Virginia Cavaliers, named as one of the last 4 in by Joe Lunardi in his latest bracketology. Others have them still on the outside, along with LaSalle, St. Mary's, and Temple. Now, a non-conference strength of schedule that's really horrible, 320 plus.
But I think the combination of passing the objective test, which is what Joe Lunardi's doing with bracketology, total objectives. You also have to add the subjective element to it as well. And, you know, with a signature win, if they can beat a Duke or Miami coming forward, you take a look at this resume. As I said, the Carolina and the NC State wins are quality. NC State remains that. Certainly Wisconsin is quality. The bad losses are from a team a while ago. They're a different team than they are now. They got different or consistent personnel where they had lost some key guys, and they're still missing, you know, a key guy in Mike Tobey. But in the end, you got to also pass the smell test. And I think the smell test or the eye test, you know, gives Virginia an edge. And I think they're a better team than just the last 4 in. That's right now.
They were without Tevin Jones and Jontel Evans early. In fact, 3 of their losses came without their senior point guard, Jontel Evans. But just to play devil's advocate, if you're going to judge them on their full body of work, you have to take into consideration not only those 6 losses, but their bad losses. Jerry Palm points out that not since George Washington in 2006 has a team gotten in with a non-conference RPI of 320 or less, and non-conference strength of schedule is certainly part of the equation.
But in the end, they do, the Tournament Selection Committee has historically taken in consideration injuries. You know, who you were with the injured players, missing those guys, and who you are now when those guys have come back. So I think the benefit of the doubt will go to Virginia, you know, missing a key cog like a Jontel Evans.
I just don't know that we've ever seen a team with 6 top 100 wins and 6 losses outside of the top 100 like Virginia has put together now. Plenty of opportunities to continue to impress. And that's the bottom line. The season doesn't end today. They still have not only North Carolina, Miami on the road, 5 of their next 6 on the road, but they have a little thing called the ACC tournament as well.
Yeah, I mean, you can't make the argument now, but at the end of the year, they've had plenty of opportunities to get, you know, 1 or 2 signature wins, as we keep calling it. And if they don't, if the conversation were to end now, I still think, again, Joe Lunardi has them in the last 4 in. I still think they get in, and I still think they're better than last 4 in. But, you know, the argument being made about losing to those teams early in the season, you can still add the fact that they were missing some key guys.
Who needs it more this weekend, North Carolina or Virginia?
Carolina. Can't lose at home.
Shot clock winding down on Jontel Evans, a senior trying to make something happen.
Yeah, he made the shot clock go off.
Well, it's something.
That's something, right?
It's something good, but it's something. Virginia looks off.
That they shouldn't have lost to.
Harris with a hand in the face. Great D again by Virginia, but an offensive rebound.
Terrific offensive rebounds. Sedarian Reigns commanding that weak side corner. Nice pass, too. Threads the needle.
Barksdale eventually puts it up for his first bucket.
One thing you can say about the Hokies, they haven't stopped working. It may not have always worked for them, but they haven't stopped working. And the greatest barometer is, are you offensive rebounding? Are you battling inside?
Hokies only shooting about 32% tonight.
And you can attribute that to some outstanding defense. You know, more times than not, Virginia has forced Virginia Tech to work that shot clock under 10. Then you get the anxiety kicking in on your shots. You know, that has a profound impact on your shooting percentage.
All Joe Harris does is make shots. Career high tonight for Harris, who previously had 24 against Minnesota in November of 2010. And Harris now at 26. Virginia just kind of blitzed Virginia Tech out of the gate. Joe Harris had 9 points early in this one, and Eric Green never got off the ground in the first half. Two for Marquise Rankin.
Yeah, it was a stretch run in the first half. They got Virginia up. They were up by as many as 13. It was a 16-2 run after Virginia Tech took their first lead by 1. And all Tech could do is see the Cavaliers in the rearview mirror. Well, Virginia could see Tech in the rearview mirror.
C.J. Barksdale stepped on the end line with nobody around him. First year head coach James Johnson has had to make do with a limited supply. On the other side for Virginia, Joe Harris has been magnificent. And he gets a nice ovation as he goes to the bench with a career high 26. Mitchell follows him. 17 for Mitchell. .20 lead here for Virginia. And talk about great scores. Georgia has one. Kentavious Caldwell Pope. Bulldogs are coming up next as they play host to Alabama.
We're just wondering if Eric Green is going to be taken off or stay on the floor. He's got 22 points, almost 3 points off of his average, and I think that James Johnson feels he owes him that much. Despite having a poor shooting day, he owes him that much. Well, he's taking him off now.
4 of 17 shooting for Eric Green.
Tough day. But again, it's one thing to have defenses game planning for you. It's another thing to have a Virginia defense game planning for you. With Tony Bennett, you know, the strategists, they've done just a terrific job of taking Eric Green pretty much out of the game when it counted.
Tony Bennett able to empty his bench. Here's Joey Racer for Virginia Tech and Marcus Patrick.
Witless man on the floor.
5'9" freshman gets in on the fun.
Although with the modified fro, man, he and Tevin Jones look about the same size. Jones at 6 feet.
There's a Fletch joke in there somewhere.
No. The modified fro. That's coming back. You see a guy like Marshall Wood with the kid
and play look.
Kid and play haircut. Retro coming back, you know, every 20 years.
You think that high top fade has helped Nerlens Noel block any shots this year?
Well, the first time around, guys are looking at him like, are you serious? But more and more guys are starting to sport that kind of cut, so.
It's a style rewind.
I got some ties I can break out now.
Yeah, that's right. Nothing doing on the drive that time for Thomas Rogers, seeing action in his 7th game this season. Junior from Farmville, Virginia. Virginia runs its record to 18-6, now 8-3 in conference play. The Tar Heels are next up, and then it's a trip to Miami next Tuesday on the U.
Can you imagine thinking of the Tar Heels as a track team? I don't think so. But they stand in the way of the showdown with Miami.
I asked Tony Bennett, what did you tell your team about the upcoming opportunities? He said, I told him we got a game at